Sorry, Maharaj, you can't accept the humble offering.
You should be sorry, my goodness.
Right.
You're not understanding.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
yes, you should be sorry. My goodness. What can you do to atone?
You're lying.
Oh, we're online. Oh, my goodness. Okay, we shall watch our P's and Q's. And... Okay, we have a microphone. So... Okay, dear devotees, we seem to be online just a fraction of a moment before we've got our place in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So here we are in London chapter of Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math. And in Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math, the devotees every day attend Mangalarti and Evening Arti, and every day read from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and from Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev. So here we are also reading from Srila Prabhupada, and that means the translations, but the commentaries also by Srila Prabhupada in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So first of all, Dandavat to all the devotees. Here we have already given obeisances, and at home, wherever you may be, driving your car, in the Sputnik, is it at the space station, or wherever it may be, who knows? Then maybe our obeisances to you, and may we continue with the reading of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And so, Arati, Parikrama, Kirtan, and now reading time. And so, we're reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela and continuing in chapter number 20. Oh my goodness, this is the Lord instructs Sanatana Goswami. So, this is a very, very long section. The longest section in the whole of Chaitanya Charitamrita is the instructions of Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. So just so I know, we're reading Chaitanya Charitamrita and Revealed Truth, presumably, because they're both here with us. Okay.
Do I take that book from you?
No, it's all right. No need to get up. I think everything is safe there. And we have the large table. But I will read from the tablet because it's bigger and it's much more easy to see.
What verse are we on now?
Verse number 58. So, text number 58, Madhya Leela, chapter number 20. Madhya Leela, chapter 20. So, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya, Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Advaita Chandra, Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, and Jai Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, the author ki Jai. Jai Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj ki Jai, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Srila Maharaj ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai, and Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai, Sri Rupanuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. So, I wasn't here at the last reading. So this is where Sanatana Goswami, just to, well, let me just go back. So yes, so Mahaprabhu knew that Sanatana Goswami had come to see him, and I've gone back a long way to say it. Anyway, Mahaprabhu knew that Sanatana Goswami had come to see him, but he was showing himself as a Muslim mendicant, and so he sent the devotees to find, is there somebody outside at the door? And said, no, there's only a Muslim mendicant. And Mahaprabhu said, bring him in. Then Mahaprabhu embraced him, and as soon as embraced him, and Mahaprabhu was overwhelmed with ecstasy. As soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu touched Sanatana's body, Sanatan was also overwhelmed with ecstasy, and in a faltering voice said, "Oh my Lord, do not touch me." So they both cried together. Then Mahaprabhu took him inside and started to cleanse his body. Mahaprabhu cleansing Sanatan's body with his own hand. And Sanatan Goswami objected, and the Lord said, "I'm touching you just to purify myself, because by the force of your devotional service, you can purify the whole universe." And then he quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam, quote, "Saints of your caliber are themselves places of pilgrimage. Because of their purity, they are constant companions of the Lord, and therefore they can purify even the places of pilgrimage." So, then, I assume we're on this next verse today. Then Mahaprabhu is now going to quote another verse, and this verse is from the Hari Bhakti Vilas. It's Sanskrit, and this is compiled, so it's recorded by Sanatan Goswami. So this is where we're starting today. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And the verse in Sanskrit is Name Bhaktash Chatur Vedi Mad Bhakta Shvapacha Priyaha Tasmai Deyang Tato Grahayang Sa Cha Pujyo Jata Hyaham. Hare Krishna. Quote, the Lord Krishna said, so Mahaprabhu is quoting this. Lord Krishna said, "Even though a person is a very learned scholar of the Sanskrit Vedic literatures, he is not accepted as my devotee unless he is pure in devotional service. However, even though a person is born in a family of dog-eaters, he is very dear to me if he is a pure devotee who has no motive to enjoy fruitive activity or mental speculation. Indeed, all respect should be given to him, and whatever he offers should be accepted. Such devotees are as worshipable as I am." All right. Hare Krishna. Acha. So, that's not an announcement at the airport, that's somebody at the door.
That's somebody at the door, Maharaj. That's somebody there, yeah.
Okay, and then there is no commentary to this. And then the next verse is spoken by Prahlad Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so Mahaprabhu is quoting this verse while answering to the objection of Sanatan Goswami. Mahaprabhu is quoting, okay, I'll give you the English because it's a little long, the Sanskrit. It says, Viprad Dvishad Guna Jutad Aravinda Nabha. Translation. One may be born in a Brahmana family and have all 12 Brahminical qualities, but if he is not devoted to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who has a navel shaped like a lotus, he is not as good as a Chandala who has dedicated his mind, words, activities, wealth and life to the service of the Lord. Simply to take a birth in a Brahmana family or to have Brahminical qualifications is not sufficient. One must become a pure devotee of the Lord. If a Shvapacha or Chandala is a devotee, he delivers not only himself but his whole family. Whereas a Brahmana who is not a devotee but simply has Brahminical qualifications cannot even purify himself, what to speak of his family. So this is spoken by Prahlad Maharaj. And then in the purport, Srila Prabhupada, he is giving more quotations and mentioning about the Brahminical qualities: peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which Brahmanas work. A Brahmana must be perfectly religious, he must be truthful, and he must be able to control his senses. He must execute severe austerities, and he must be detached, humble, and tolerant. He must not envy anyone, and he must be expert in performing sacrifices and giving whatever he has in charity. He must be fixed in devotional service and expert in the knowledge of the Vedas. These are the 12 qualifications of a Brahmana, and that's given in Mahabharata. And another quote from the Mukta Phala Tika. Jai Mahaprabhu, Jai Giriraj, Shri Radha Giridhari Ju Ki Jai. So it is said in the Mukta Phala Tika, the Sanskrit, and then mental equilibrium, sense control, austerity, cleanliness, tolerance, simplicity, detachment, theoretical and practical knowledge, satisfaction, truthfulness, and firm faith in the Vedas are the 12 qualities of a Brahmana. So, now we continue. Okay, so somebody is going to school today, and we are already in our morning classroom. This is the classroom of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So have a good day in school. Hare Krishna.
Have a good day, Danny. We see you when you get back.
Okay, so now Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is speaking. He's not quoting, he's speaking. And he's saying, Tomma deki, tomara spashi, gai tomara guna, sarvendriya phala, e shastra nirupana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, by seeing you, tomma deki, by touching you, tomma spashi, and by glorifying your transcendental qualities, gai tomara guna, then one can perfect the purpose of all sense activities. Sarvendriya phala. This is the verdict of the revealed scriptures. E shastra nirupana. Okay, so now you know the Bengali, I understand it. Tomma deki, tomma spashi, gai tomma raguna, sarvendriya phala, e shastra nirupana. Okay, that's Mahaprabhu himself speaking. And then Mahaprabhu is quoting what is now found in Hari Bhakti Shuddhodaya, chapter 13, verse 2. You can check it out yourself. Akshno phalang tvadrisha darshanang hi, tano phalang tvadrisha gatra sangaha, jiva phalang tvadrisha kirtanang hi, sudurlabha bhagavata hi loke. And quote, Mahaprabhu is giving this Sanskrit quote, my dear Vaishnava, seeing a person like you is the perfection of one's eyesight. Touching your lotus feet is the perfection of the sense of touch, and glorifying your good qualities is the tongue's real activity. For in the material world, it is very difficult to find a pure devotee of the Lord. Jai. And there's no purport, so I don't know who's speaking to who. Well, obviously, someone, anyway, I don't know exactly the circumstance there. Okay, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, Etta kohi kohe Prabhu. So anyway, Saying this, then Mahaprabhu said, okay, Eta kohe Prabhu, Shuna Sanatana, Krishna Boro Doyamoy Patita Pavana. Okay, you know. So then Mahaprabhu continued, my dear Sanatan, please hear from me. Krishna is very merciful and he is a deliverer of all fallen souls. Eta kohe Prabhu, Shunna Sanatan, Krishna Bora Doyamoy, Patita Pavana. No, next verse. Maharorava. Where is Maharorava? Anybody knows?
No.
The greatest hell. Oh, Maharorava. Maharorava hoite toma korela udhara kripara samudra Krishna gambhira apara. My dear Sanatan, Krishna has saved you from Maharorava, life's deepest hell. He is an ocean of mercy, and his activities are very grave, gambhira. So Maharorava hoite toma korela udhara kripara samudra Krishna gambhira apara. Okay, next verse. My dear Sanatan. Oh, that's the same verse. Hare Krishna. Then there's a reasonably long purport here. As stated, so purport of Srila Prabhupada. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Ishvara Savabhutanang Hrideshe Arjuna Tishtati. Staying within everyone's heart, Lord Krishna works very gravely. No one can understand how he is working, but as soon as the Lord understands the sincere activity of a person in devotional service, he helps him in such a way that the devotee cannot understand how things are happening. If the devotee is determined to serve the Lord is always prepared to help him. Dadami buddhi yogam tang yena mam upayanti te. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling Sanatana Goswami how merciful the Lord is. Sanatana Goswami was a minister in the service of Nawab Hussain Shah. He was always mixing with materially inclined people, particularly the Javanas, the meat-eaters. Although he was in intimate touch with them, by Krishna's mercy, he came to find such association distasteful. Therefore, he left them. As stated by Srinivasacharya, Chaktva tunang ashesha mandala patti shrening sada tucchavat. Krishna enlightened Sanatana Goswami in such a way that he was able to give up his exalted post as a minister. Thinking his material position insignificant, Sanatana was prepared to become a mendicant. Appreciating the activities of Sanatana Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu praised his action and thanked Krishna for his mercy upon Sanatana. Beautiful purport. Okay. Translate to Bengali. Sanatana Goswami said. Translate into Bengali. Sanatana kohe. Sanatana kohe. Krishna ami nahi, Krishna ami nahi jani. Amara udhara hetu tomara kripa mani. I'm thinking it is yours. Sanatana replied, I do not know who is Krishna. As far as I am concerned, I have been released from prison only by your mercy. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Sanatana Goswami, how were you released from prison? Sanatana then described the story from beginning to end. Then Prabhu kohe. Then Mahaprabhu said, I met your two brothers, Rupa and Anupama, at Prayag. They have now gone to Vrindavan. Then Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, is reciting, by the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sanatana Goswami met both Tapana Mishra and Chandra Shekhar. Oh, okay, so that's their discussion, and now, new paragraph kind of thing. By the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sanatana Goswami met both Tapana Mishra and Chandra Shekhar. Tapana Mishra then extended an invitation to Sanatan, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Sanatan to go and get a shave. You already went. Then, after this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called Chandrasekhar and asked him to take Sanatana Goswami with him. He also asked him to take away Sanatan's present clothing. Chandrasekhar then made Sanatana Goswami look like a gentleman. He took him to bathe in the Ganges, and afterwards he brought him a new set of cloth. Se vastra Sanatana na koila angikara shunya prabhura mani ananda apara. So Chandrasekhar offered a new set of garments to Sanatana Goswami, but Sanatana did not accept them. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard news of this, Mahaprabhu became unlimitedly happy. Shunya prabhura mane ananda upa apara. Then, after bathing at noon, Mahaprabhu went to the house of Tapana Mishra for lunch. He took Sanatana Goswami with him. After washing the Lord's feet, after the Lord washed his feet, after washing his feet, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat down for lunch. He asked Tapana Mishra to supply Sanatana Goswami lunch also. Tapana Mishra then said, Mishra kohe, Tapana Mishra said, Sanatanera kichu kriti ache, tumi bhiksha koro, prasad tari dibe pache. So Tapana Mishra then said, Sanatan has some duty to perform, therefore he cannot accept lunch just now. At the conclusion of the meal, I shall supply Sanatan with some remnants. Now, Krishnadas Kaviraj reciting, after eating, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took rest, or maybe left side down, for a while. Tapana Mishra then gave Sanatana Goswami the remnants of food left by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Next verse, Mishra Sanatane Dila Nutana Vasana Vastra Nahi Nila Teho Koila Nivedana. When Tapana Mishra offered Sanatana Goswami a new cloth, he did not accept it. Instead, he spoke as follows. So, Sanatana Goswami said, More vastra dite jadi tomara hoyamana nija paridana ekadeha puratana. Old. If you want to give me some cloth according to your desire, please give me an old cloth that you have used. When Tapana Mishra gave Sanatana Goswami a used dhoti, Sanatana immediately tore it into pieces to make 2 sets of outer cloth and underwear. All right. Then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced the Maharashtrian Brahmana to Sanatan, the Brahmana immediately invited Sanatana Goswami for full meals. The Brahmana said, Sanatana, tumi javat kashite rahiba, tavat amara ghore bhiksha je koriba. My dear Sanatana, as long as you remain at Kashi, please accept lunch at my place. But Sanatana Goswami said, what's that in Bengali?
Sanatana kohe.
Thank you very much. Sanatana kohe, ami madhu kari koriba, brahmanera ghore, kene akatra bhiksha laba. So Sanatana said, I shall practice the process of madhukari, begging, going door to door. Why should I accept full meals in the house of a Brahmana? Hare Krishna. All right, and purport, commentary by Srila Prabhupada. The word Madhukari comes from the word Madhukar, which refers to bees collecting pollen from flower to flower. A Madhukari is a saintly person or a mendicant who does not accept a full meal at one house, but begs from door to door, taking a little food from each householder's place. In this way, he does not overeat or give householders unnecessary trouble. A person in the renounced order may beg, but not cook. His begging should not be a burden for the householders. The Madhukari process is strictly to be followed by a Babaji, that is, one who has attained the Paramahansa stage. This practice is still current in Vrindavan, and there are many places where alms are offered. Unfortunately, there are many beggars who have come to Vrindavan to accept alms, but not follow the principles of Sanatana Goswami. People try to imitate him and lead an idle life by practicing Madhukari. It is almost impossible to strictly follow Sanatana Goswami or Rupa Goswami. It is better to accept food offered to Krishna in the temple than to try to imitate Sanatana Goswami and Rupa Goswami. And then quote from Bhagavad Gita, "He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system." Read the rest of the Gita to find out what is the yoga system. Okay, Bhakti Yoga, we all know, is the conclusion. Then Srila Prabhupada ending, the ideal sannyasi strictly follows the ways practiced by the Goswamis. There. All right, Mahaprabhu is saying now, no, Mahaprabhu is not saying. What's happening? Sanatanera vairagye prabhura ananda apara bhota kambala pane prabhu chahe bar. Oh, bara acha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt unlimited happiness to observe Sanatana Goswami's strict following of the principles of sannyas. However, he repeatedly glanced at the woolen blanket Sanatana Goswami was wearing. On the way there, because he came over from Bengal, and on the way over he met one of his relatives who saw him in quite a dirty state and with a torn quilt, and he gave him a new blanket, said, "Oh, at least take this." And he wouldn't accept meals, he wouldn't accept that he'll stay there and for a few days on his way over to meet Mahaprabhu. But he did accept, kind of as a peace offering, the nice woolen blanket. But next verse, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was repeatedly glancing at this valuable woolen blanket, Sanatana Goswami could understand that the Lord did not approve of it. He then began to consider a way to give it up. Thinking in this way, Sanatana went to the bank of the Ganges to bathe. While there, he saw that a mendicant from Bengal had washed his quilt and spread it out to dry. Sanatana Goswami then told the Bengali mendicant, "My dear brother, please do me a favor. Trade me your quilt for this woolen blanket." "Say kahe," he replied. "Sir, you are a respectable gentleman. Why are you joking with me? Why would you trade your valuable blanket for my torn quilt?" Te ho kahe. Then Sanatana said, "I am not joking. I am speaking the truth. Rahasya nahe kahe satyavani. Kindly take this blanket in exchange for your torn quilt." Saying this, Sanatana Goswami exchanged the blanket for the quilt. He then returned to Mahaprabhu with the quilt, that torn quilt, on his shoulder. When Sanatana Goswami returned, the Lord asked, "Where is your woolen blanket?" Sanatana Goswami then narrated the whole story to the Lord. Then Prabhu kohe, Iha ami koriachi vichara vishaya roga kandaila Krishna je tomara. Se kene rakibe tomara shesha vishaya bhoga. Roga kandi sadvaidya na rake shesha roga. Mahaprabhu then said, I have already deliberately considered this matter. Since Lord Krishna is very merciful, he has nullified your attachment for material things. Why should Krishna allow you to maintain a last bit of material attachment? After vanquishing a disease, a good physician does not allow any of the disease to remain. And who yesterday was asking me about the 10 offenses, the 10th offense of the holy name of the Lord? Here is something to consider. So then Mahaprabhu still speaking. It is contradictory to practice madhukari and at the same time wear a valuable blanket. One loses his spiritual strength by doing this, and one will also become an object of jokes. Gosai Kohe, so Sanatana Goswami said, what did he say? The Supreme Personality of Godhead has saved me from the sinful life of material existence. By his desire, my last piece of material attraction is now gone. Prasanna hoya prabhu tare kripa koila tara kripaya prashna korite tara shakti hoila. Being pleased with Sanatana Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed his causeless mercy upon him. By the Lord's mercy, Sanatana Goswami received the spiritual strength to inquire from him. That's where we're going to end today and tomorrow. Now that we know that Sanatana has the spiritual strength to inquire, we will hear about the inquiry, and there must be proper inquiry as well as, of course, proper answers. But when we get Sanatana Goswami, the proper person to make proper inquiry, and the Supreme Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the properest person to answer the proper inquiry, then magic things happen. So this is coming up in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And we've run over time, 35 minutes, and we like to 15 minutes and 15 minutes, or 20 minutes and 20 minutes like that. But here we are. We happily done our duty, requested to read from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita today. So, we're starting on text 95 tomorrow, so I'll put this in here in case I'm not the reader. So someone can sing Hari Haraya Nama Krishna, and then we'll continue. Everyone's busy. We've got a big Alexander's palace. I don't know who Alexander is, but at his palace there is going to be a big food fair this weekend, and the devotees are, as they say, preparing for that fair. And so Ashita Krishna has come from the north of England, and he's the only one in the room who's not wrapped up with warm clothing, because he thinks it's tropical summer down here in London after coming from the north of England.
He hasn't got a woolen blanket.
He doesn't have a new woolen blanket, or even an old woolen blanket to renounce, to give up attachment to. Okay, I'm putting the marker in the page. So I believe that Anjali Devidasi of Bournemouth and beyond, is going to be our lead singer today. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, and Jai Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Jai Shriman Mahaprabhu Gauranga Sundar ki jai, and Shri Giriraj Radha Giridhari Ju ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra Gadadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasa Raghunath Echan Gosai Kori Charana Vandana Jahate Vignana Sabisa Puran
Sundaka Vindadekas Swami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Krishna Paramamsa Parabhaja Jai Astata Sata Shrima Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai Jai Prishipad Paramamsa Parabhaja Jai Astata Sata Shrima Shri Bhakti Raka Shri Dekas Swami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Shri Jai Shri Gaur Kashartas Babiji Maharaj Ki Jai 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 Ambushapa Sri Satchitananda Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Ambushapa Sri Jagannath Bhagaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Sri Rupanuga Guruvaka Ki Jai. Namaste Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anandakoti Vaishnava Ki Jai. Baladev Jagusana Ki Jai. Sabashada Sri Nishananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Sabashada Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Sri Govinda Sri Rupa Goswami Sanatana Goswami Sri Vakanath Bhatta Goswami Sri Jiva Goswami Gopal Bhatta Goswami Vakanath Das Goswami Ki Jai. Nishmar Gaura Hari Bo
Hari Bo.
All the Vakanath devotees.
Madhusudan Maharaj ki
Jai.